Thank you. With that said, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to talk about Black Panther for a second. You played the young Zuri in Black Panther. I think that came out February 2018. If I'm not mistaken. We all watched it in the room right now. It was something that we needed. It was something that was absolutely amazing to watch as a Black man, as a Black person, just to see us on screen that way. But there was some criticism involved with the movie as well. Shout out to Michael Cougar, who did a phenomenal job directing the movie.
Ryan Cougar. Yeah.
Ryan, yeah. I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh, no, you good.
Who directed the movie in Marvel, who dropped the Black Panther movie. A lot of people gave criticism, obviously, to Killmonger, who was out here playing the bad guy, the villain, but who was ultimately trying to help Black Americans in America was the overall premise. And then the good guy coming to save the day. You got the FBI agent coming to save and rescue. It's a lot of different dynamic going on amongst the Black community when it came to the movie. So what did you think about the movie, how it came out originally, the impact it had, and then the overall message of it?
So that was a real interesting one. And the first time I've ever had this happen within my career is like, because of how secretive Marvel is about their script, I didn't necessarily read the full script. You know, I didn't even have the opportunity to read the full script as we were filming it. You know, certain parts were basically disclosed to certain individuals. And then, you know, we had to basically lean on Ryan Coogler to sort of to tell us where we were coming from as a place of character and make that honest and real. So by the time I had seen the movie, the first time I seen the movie was at the premiere that we had, the Los Angeles premiere, and I was blown away, to say the least. Like I was overcome with emotion to be a part of a film like that. But also at the same time too, I was looking at Ryan like, oh, they let you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was like, they let you do that with a Marvel property, and then it exceeded box office numbers. I was like, oh, okay, this is possible. With regards to the whole, you know, Killmonger thing, I think that's kind of what makes him such a complex character, you know, and whether we want to call him an antagonist, a protagonist, or whatnot, that's kind of the thing. Some of the greatest quote unquote villains within cinematic history, we can understand them. You know, I think there's a certain madness to the Joker that we can understand. There's a certain madness to Killmonger that we can understand. And the question is it madness with Killmonger? You know, where he's an individual who wants to see justice by force, you know, which we've seen that in the past. We've seen that, you know, with Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
Can we necessarily condemn the man Malcolm X? No, not at all. Because most certainly from the other side of, you know, the scope, there has definitely been violence pressed upon us, and that was okay. There's been certain wars within history. I mean, just look at the what is it, the Catholic Crusades, I believe it was. It was the, you know, that was like, are you kidding me? How many numbers died for the sake of religion? You know, we happen to see it in the Middle East all the time, where quote unquote violence is being justified. So it's hard to say, and I think that's what makes not only his character so complex, but the actual conversation very complex. And I'm happy to see a character like Killmonger come to the forefront, because we really need to think about it. Like, is violence always the answer? Is it not? You know what I mean? Is it sometimes justified? Is it not? You know what I mean? If we were to look at the situation right now with what's my man's name? Aubrey.
Ahmaud Aubrey.
Ahmaud Aubrey, yes.
Yeah,
like certain people are mad. They were like, if we don't see justice, who's to say what violence will look like on the end of that spectrum? You know? And I'm never one to encourage violence, but when we're being hunted down in the street, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think there were so many powerful messages there, and that's the power of cinema, is that we get to sort of put these themes forward and then expand that conversation further. So I'm glad that conversation is further expanding. You know what I mean? It's all about bringing awareness to the subject, first of all, because wasn't nobody talking about this before the movie came out, you know?
Right. Definitely. With that being said, Black Panther 2, I know they're saying they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If they are, and when they do, are you going to be involved in that? Have you been called to do that, or how's that going to work?
Man, you would be the first to know.
No doubt.
Let's get in the Black Mouth company, man. You got a company called Black Mouth, man. Elaborate to people on what exactly that is and what you got going on over there.
Yeah, for sure. So Black Mouth is a company I started in 2013. I've actually had it much further than that. I had it probably since the 6th grade. I remember. I just needed a name. I remember like Ludacris's CD Word of Mouth. I decided to call myself Black Mouth, the same logo. And actually this right here, it's written in Japanese. I had somebody in Japan translate it when I was recently there. Black Mouth is basically like if storytelling is the most common form of word of mouth, then Black Mouth are basically my stories, or stories of my culture, or things that I feel passionate about. The same way you think of Steven Spielberg and Amblin, which is his company. You can look up Amblin right now. It doesn't necessarily have a name, but that was the name of his first short film. Black Mouth, I pretty much want synonymous with me. And it's sort of a cool collective, and also what I want to build up as a film company, where voices very similar to mine are either just voices that I've always felt passionate about, even when it comes to like adventure fantasy filmmaking and things like that. Like that's all kind of part of my brainstem, and I want to further develop that. So we've been around since 2013. Produced a couple shorts thus far, producing my next short film called 5150. Shot a lot of music videos within that time too, dropped some merch as well, just, to sort of celebrate the brand. It's growing, I pray to make it a household name, hopefully within the next 5 years.
So with that being said, you were talking about a little earlier about, it's important that our images are portrayed in a certain way. What are some of your plans with some of the films you plan to direct to make sure that that's carried out? Like, can you give us concepts that you may?
Yeah. So my next short film, 5150, we actually have the crowdfund. It's live right now. We're raising 25,000 in the midst of a pandemic. I know it's crazy, but we've already amassed close to 20 grand just within 4 days. Yeah, it's a blessing to say the least. And we got David Oyelowo attached as executive producer, and Javon Adepo. He's on board as a lead actor. Now, you may know them both. David Oyelowo from Selma. He played Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Javon, he was in The Watchmen. He was in Fences. He played Denzel Washington's son in Fences.
Okay.
And both of those guys, we pretty much decided to link arms and tackle mental health within the Black community, and also just celebrity mental health and the power of the modern day celebrity. So to sort of speak on that and how that relates to pushing our initiative forward, me as a young actor, public figure, entertainer, I've always been worried about fame. How damaging it could be. I've seen certain friends, especially growing up as a child actor, some, turn to drugs, violence, whatever it may be. Some just, sort of get turned away from the industry or turned out by the industry. And then, as I got older, certain people who I idolize, like even a Kanye West, you know what I mean? A Colin Kaepernick, even like a Kevin Hart now, even Amanda Bynes, worked with her, Britney Spears. I've seen so many people who I've admired their work as artists kind of, almost crumble under the pressures of the industry. And that's the thing. Like, first of all, we in the Black community, we don't talk about mental health. Like, I've been to therapy before, and when I told certain family members about that, they were like, "Boy, you crazy. Ain't nothing wrong with you." I didn't really think nothing was wrong with me either. Yeah. But there were certain things that were happening within my life, you know what I mean? Like maybe certain values that were pressed upon from like my grandparents that no longer apply, you know what I mean? Or even just when it comes down to oppression, for so long, we as a culture were enslaved, and we were taught not to speak freely or not to stand up for ourselves. Or when we do, we gotta stand up to the master or whatnot. And we're still kind of tiptoeing and doing that, and then there's certain stresses that happen within life that we're oppressed by simply by being within the communities that we grow up in and not really seeing any outlet. And then people around us, the crabs in the bucket, mentality instead of lifting each other up.